There's a picture, but there's no action. Probably I didn't read the instructions right.
We'll just take a look here and see how it works.
I didn't want to have to bring it in, but I just
What's going on,
couldn't get
everybody?
it to
This is
work.
Sal from the GameExperts.
There you go.
Welcome to
Working
another
now.
episode of
Oh,
GameExperts
look,
TV.
sweetie, it's working. Oh.
So we frequently get calls from people who are having issues with their 64, whether they can't get it going or they don't know how to get it going, how to set it up. Usually it is a very small issue and a very, very quick fix. They're usually really, really reliable, the 64s. Very rarely do we find any that need to go to repair. It's usually like something needs a cleaning, etc, etc. But I thought I'd do a video showing how to firstly set up a 64 in the correct way, and secondly some troubleshooting tips to get the console to work. So there are a few different mechanisms with the 64 which we'll go in detail, but I've got my lovely Pokemon 64 console here, and we're going to grab power and AV cords and fire it up. So let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, so the key to setting up a 64, it is a very, very simple process. All you need is obviously the 64 itself, AV cords. Genuine is preferred. However, if you're setting it up on a CRT TV that's not massive, even the aftermarket ones work fine. So here we've got a 8 or 10 inch Sony Trinitron, which either should be okay, but we've got the genuines anyway, just in case. And we've also got a Nintendo 64 power supply. So honestly, these fail very commonly. A lot of the times, the ones that we get in, they have power supplies that don't boot up. This one should be fine. Another thing to note is sometimes we'll get calls saying that the power supply doesn't have the adapter that goes into the console. It is literally, so this goes straight into the console. So you literally just plug this adapter straight into the console, and then obviously the powered straight into power. So this doesn't need like anything that goes into there. This literally goes straight into the console, which I will show you how we do it in a sec. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in the AV cables. So with the AV cables, this side goes straight into the console. So the port for them is just here. So the pointy side goes at the top. So we're going to just plug it straight in, and you should hear a click. So not sure if you heard that, but it clicked in, perfect. The aftermarket ones don't click in as loud, but as long as it's in, even though it moves a little bit, it should be fine. You should still be able to get a picture. We'll just plug in the other side just straight into the AV on the TV. So obviously red goes into red, white goes into white, and yellow goes into yellow. Next up, we're going to plug in the power supply. So I'm going to put this into the power here, and then I'll show you how to put it into the console. All right, so that's plugged into power. Now, the way to put this in the console is, you see how there's a little lever here? Leave your hand on it, so press it in, and then this way up, you'll see the arrow. You just put it straight into the console. So it just goes in, and this definitely should hear a click. So let go of the bottom and then just push it in, and it'll click in. If it's not clicked in, then it means it's not in. So you might need to take it out and try to put it back in, but we've heard it click and it's in. So the first thing to do is to check, obviously, if the console has power. That will isolate the issue if the power supply is frayed or not. So if it doesn't come up with a red light, you automatically know that the power supply is not working and you'll need a new one. So this console displays the red light, so it's perfect. The power supply is working and the AVs are cool and we're ready to go. Now, the reason why we're not getting a signal is because with these consoles, they don't just turn on and produce a home screen. You need a cartridge in the actual console to get them going. And not only that, so you also need a jumper pack or an expansion pack. Now, the way to find the jumper or expansion pack on this console is, so you see this lid right here? This clip is broken, but you just open it up and see, even if we were to put a cartridge in there, the console would not have worked because there's no jumper or expansion pack. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to get an expansion pack or a jumper pack and put it in the console, which I'll go and do now. All right, so we have our trusty N64 expansion pack in this case. As I was saying, either an expansion or a jumper should work, but in this scenario, you've got an expansion. So this goes at the front of the console. I would just give it a bit of a blow before putting it in. I mean, they say you're not supposed to blow onto the cartridges and stuff, but it is a very quick fix. I will show you guys how to clean both an expansion pack and cartridges in another way, but for this, you know, just so we can get it going, we'll just do it like this. So blowing it a couple of times, and then just make sure you click it in. Once it clicks, then we're ready to go. Now, even with this, once I turn it on, it's not going to produce a signal because, as I was saying, the N64 doesn't have any sort of home screen, so you will actually need a game. So I've got Super Mario 64 here, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lightly blow onto the cartridge and insert it. Now make sure that it clicks as well. Once you hear that click, then it should be good to go. The click will actually demonstrate how well you're going to, like if it's going to produce a signal or not. If you don't hear the click loudly enough, it might mean that it's not in there properly because of dirt or etc, etc. But this actually clicked in pretty well, so it should produce a signal pretty quickly. So I'm going to plug in the controller as well. You don't actually need the controller to get it going, but I mean, it's here, we might as well. So put the power button on, and we've got a signal. Always, whenever you're plugging in your 64, make sure you've got your power is plugged in correctly, your AV is plugged in correctly, you've got your expansion or jumper pack in there, and you've got a cartridge as well. So if you've all these 4 things are in there and it's not working, then I've got a few troubleshooting tips for you guys, which should most likely solve your issue. So as I was saying, if you've got a power supply plugged in and there's no red light on there, 9 times out of 10, it means your power supply is frayed and it's not working. You can come into the store. We've actually got replacement power supplies here, and you can just grab one off us. You can even bring your console with you and we can test it for you just to make sure that it's going. Otherwise, another thing, if the red light is coming on and the TV is still not producing a picture, then it might mean that your cartridge is dirty, and even with a few blows, it might not get going because it's really, really dirty. So I'll show you guys quickly how to clean your cartridges. So to clean your cartridge, what you'll need is, what I would recommend is some metho. So you can get this bottle, it is a bottle of methylated spirits from Bunnings for like 10 bucks. If you don't have this available and you really want to get your console going, you can use Windex or isopropyl alcohol. They should get it going. Just make sure that the alcohol is not very strong because you can corrode the pins, but I would really, really recommend using either this or Windex. So you'll also need some cotton tips. So what you need to do is grab a cotton tip, then open up your metho, just dip the cotton tip into the metho, and then with the liquid side, grab your cartridge and just chuck this cotton tip over the pin there, and then just like that, just go, just take off as much dirt as you can like this, and you'll see from your cotton tip that is, you know, if you can see that, it's pretty bad. Like a lot of dirt is actually coming off, but it's not enough to make the cartridge not work. But it is always good to clean your cartridges, so go up and down just all the way, and then just give them a nice little clean. If it is producing a lot, then I would take the other side and re-dip it in and cleaning it, but I think that should do the trick. And then with the dry side, so if you haven't used the other side, use the dry side just to go over it and take off any excess sort of metho. And then you realize you won't even have to blow into the cartridge now. That should be clean enough just to chuck straight into your console and be ready to go. So if you've cleaned your cartridge, you've put it in your console, you still can't get the console going, there is another troubleshooting tip that I would really recommend. It is cleaning the jumper pack. So to get the jumper pack out, you will need to take it out of the console. There is a nice little trick to do so. So open your clip, and then just with this side, jimmy it into the little hole between the expansion pack and the console, and then that should get in, and then just make sure it goes in, and then just pull up your expansion pack. So you're jimmying it in and pulling it out, and then that'll release the expansion pack. And now what we need to do is actually clean the expansion pack because it may be dirty. The blows weren't enough, so we'll need to actually give it a clean. So very similarly, we're gonna clean it to the cartridges is literally just a cotton bud with some metho and rubber all over the top and the bottom of the expansion pack. do it as much as needed and then go over it with the dry side and just put it back into the console like so and press on it and cover it with the clip. Now that we have a clean cartridge in there and the expansion pack is clean, we've turned on the console, it is producing a red light. 9 times out of 10, this should definitely get your console going. So it should always produce an awesome picture like so. Alrighty guys, there we have it, our quick little how to set up an N64 console and some troubleshooting tips to give you guys a little bit of an easy experience to setting it up. Let us know how you go. Hopefully this video has sort of helped you out to set up your 64 and has solved hopefully an issue of you turning on your console. It is honestly 9 times out of 10 some very short troubleshooting tips to get your console going. It's honestly, most commonly the cartridges are pretty dirty, and then after a good clean, they're all good to go. As I said, very, very rarely is it that the actual console is wrecked. It's always something that's got to do with what's going into the console. Don't forget to chuck us a like and a subscribe and share this video with a mate. And yeah, hopefully this has solved some of your issues. And if it hasn't, you're more than welcome to bring your console down to the store and we can try and see what's going on. But yeah, thanks again for watching another video, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.